All right, for a closer look at the report, Charlie Dent joins me now. Charlie's a former Pennsylvania congressman and former chair of the House Ethics Committee. He now serves as the executive director of the Aspen Institute Congressional Program. He joins me from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Charlie, thanks a lot for your time today.
Great to be with you.
Give me your sense here. Someone who's previously led the House Ethics Committee, the details of this report are quite damning.
Yeah, they are indeed. And just for your Canadian audience, you need to understand that an ethics investigation is not a criminal investigation. The Ethics Committee is looking at potential violations of House rules and standards of conduct. And the committee clearly found that there were violations of House rules and standards of conduct. And in the course of this investigation, of course, they have found circumstances where they believe Matt Gaetz may have violated Florida state law. And the committee could refer that to the state of Florida if they so chose. So that's there too. And by the way, the committee, there are 10 members. It's the only committee in Congress that is evenly divided between Republicans and Democrats. Mm-hmm. So a bipartisan consensus was needed, not only to release this report, but also to accept the report as written. And so it just seems to me that Matt Gaetz has himself a real problem on his hands. This is very damning. The allegations deal with sex with a minor, mm-hmm. Paying for sex, illegal, illicit drug use, and a whole host of other issues. So it's a real mess, and that's the reason why he resigned. He wanted to prevent this from being released.
And you even say that, I mean, looking at the findings, it has a Jeffrey Epstein flair to it. So there's that aspect of it. But Matt Gaetz was also someone who would have held a rather strong position under President Trump.
Yeah, I said that because in the report, I was reading the report, I was really struck by this, that his girlfriend at the time was helping arrange some of these encounters with some of these women. That's why, well, that sounds a little bit like the Jeffrey Epstein situation. But it's obviously it's a very big problem. And of course, one of the reasons why the committee released the report, and by the way, for the Canadian audience, ordinarily, when a member of Congress resigns, mm-hmm. the Ethics Committee loses jurisdiction over the matter, and they usually cease all investigative activities. But there have been precedents where the committee has released reports after a member of Congress has resigned. And usually when a member of Congress resigns due to scandal, they go away quietly. They go about the business of repairing their lives, reconstructing relationships with their family, and trying to repair their reputations. Mm-hmm. And they usually don't get nominated to become the top law enforcement officer of the United States as U.S. Attorney General, and they don't usually seek other public office. It's usually the end of their political career. And that's why I think there's an interest by many to say, well, this should be released if he is going to try to assume another position of public trust.
And it looks like that he has floated the idea, my understanding, of running for Marco Rubio's Senate seat. Given that possibility, we've also heard that he may be hosting a particular talk show, a conservative-focused talk show, I should say, as part of this as well. And then there's a relationship with incoming President Donald Trump. Where do you foresee all of this going? The report is out. As you say there, the information here is quite concerning, quite damning. Where do you foresee things going from here?
Well, first we should state that former Rep. Matt Gaetz says he denies everything. But right now, the Ethics Committee's report is done. The report is there. The question is, might there be civil actions by some of these women? Will Florida law enforcement authorities look at the report and pursue anything? These are all questions that I have. Matt Gaetz has also floated the idea that he might rescind his resignation and get sworn in the new Congress, because he was just elected and he resigned in the sine die period. But so there's some question as to whether or not he actually intends to resign going forward. Now, if he were to get sworn in early January to the new House, to the new Congress, I suspect there would probably be an immediate motion filed to have him expelled. One thing that was not in this report, ordinarily for a sitting member, the committee would recommend some kind of a sanction in a case like this, a reprimand, a censure, or in the most extreme cases, expulsion. Mm-hmm. But because he's a former member, that's all moot. But if he comes back in as a member, well, then that question is back on the table. So I don't think he's going to come back in and get sworn in. But he did float that possibility the other day.
Well, we'll keep a close eye on any further developments on it, but appreciate getting your analysis on this. Thank you so much, former Pennsylvania Congressman, former chair of the House Ethics Committee, Charlie Dent, joining us from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Thank you again for this.
Thank you. Great to be with you.